Howdy doody, happy Saturday. Welcome to another video of Life Talk. My name is Braden, and today's topic is going to be about quitting not being the same as giving up. Or I'll quote the technical title of what this video is: quitting isn't necessarily the same as giving up. So what that may mean can be interpreted in a lot of ways, but I'll get down to it. So like say, for example, you're in a toxic relationship, a stressful job, or have a bad habit, or, it can mean a number of things, but those three things come to mind first. And that is, if, let's say you're in a stressful job and you feel like you need it because, pays good benefits. I've been there and done that, but some of these good jobs with good benefits stressed me out so bad that it got to the point where even doing something I was passionate about, something I lived and breathed for, and I still do, was weightlifting. I still went because, it's like automatic to me. I'm on autopilot. I've gotten so addicted to it, I go there and work out even if I'm not motivated. But when I went there, like I said, I wasn't motivated, and I started wondering, why am I doing this? Why do I keep doing this? It started to become stale because I was so stressed out. Like, the stress kind of created this brain fog. I wasn't seeing the purpose anymore. And that's when I knew it was time to remove this toxic thing from my life. It was time to quit this stressful job, quit this toxic relationship, break this bad habit, because they were doing nothing for me, even though it felt like on the surface they might have been benefiting me. Like I said, a good job with good pay, good benefits, but it was holding me back in the long run. Like with drinking, for the moment I've quit that. I've been sober for nearly 2 months at this point. I've been better off in the long run. It's still a little bit tricky resisting, especially on a Saturday night, which is coming up here soon. But in the long run, I'm better, no hangovers. My performance in the gym has improved. I'd like to say my numbers are going up. That's not necessarily true, but I do have more motivation. I don't have as much brain fog. I'm not as depressed. Or let's say in that toxic relationship, I have a fear of being alone. I had a fear of being alone. But it didn't work out, it ended, and in the long run, I am better off. There's trade-offs, pros and cons, but in the long run, you're better off. So you quit these things, you're not a quitter, you're not a loser. That does not mean you don't have willpower, that does not mean you don't have endurance, that just means you are removing something from your life, or being removed from something in your life that is holding you back, that is weighing you down, that is running you down. There's no shame in that. You got to do what's best for you. Now, if anything, in my personal opinion, if you keep subjecting yourself to that stressful job, toxic relationship, bad habit, if you keep giving into those things and letting yourself get dragged down by them, that's when I feel like you're giving up. When you let yourself fall into that trap repeatedly. When you keep going to that stressful job and let yourself, get run down and treated bad, or, that's giving up. Because the way I see it, if I'm letting that cycle keep repeating, then I'm basically like saying, that's my lot in life. It's as good as it's ever going to get for me anyway. There's no better thing for me out there. That's not true, and I've lived in this cycle before. I've kept a bad job going, a good paying job, but a bad environment type job, to where it stressed me out. I kept stuff like that going, sometimes for years. And I was in that same cycle. And like I said, I felt like, there's no better jobs for me out there. There's no better girls for me out there. There's no better habits for me out there. That's not entirely true. But yeah, at first it's kind of hard to just drop it like a bad habit, cold turkey. It's really hard at first, but it becomes easier. It's a practice, it's a mindset that you have to exercise and master over time. But you're not a quitter, you're just doing something necessary. You're removing something toxic from your life, a poison in your life, just so you can better it. Because it does not do to keep subjecting yourself to that misery. That's not what not giving up means. Not giving up does not mean you have to be miserable. If it means you're going to be depressed or you're going to drive yourself mad, well, that's eventually going to affect others around you, and you don't want that. We're not meant to be miserable. We're meant to be happy and spread that happiness with others. Be that example we wish to see in other people. And so many times we get caught up in life's responsibilities that we fail to see that. And that's what alone time can do for us, is help us think and help us realize what we're missing. Like how many turns we've missed in our lives that we could have took. We just kept going on the same path. We didn't take the turns to see what else was in our way, to see what else was in store for us. Because we were so caught up in the same loop of being in that same toxic relationship, being at that same stressful job, keeping that same bad habit going. Because that's how you'll know that it's time to drop it. That's how you'll know that bad habit has got to go. Is when you do something you're passionate about, something you usually love doing, but eventually it becomes stale and you start to realize or start to wonder, why am I doing this? You start to wonder, what's the point of this? That's when you're overly stressed out. Your brain's foggy, it's clouded with stress, because that's what stress does. And it's ultimately making the choice, the courageous choice, and also tough choice of making that change so that you can move forward faster and smoother. And of course, we all know this is cliche. We're always going to have challenges no matter what. But, it doesn't have to be, like I said, you don't have to be miserable. You don't have to be miserable to take on these challenges. They don't have to make you miserable all the time. We're going to have those days where we're going to be miserable, but if it's like that 90% of the time, if you're miserable 90% of the time, there's a problem. Something's got to go in your life or be changed in your life. The way I see it, in my opinion, it's 90-10. 90% of the time we should be happy. 90% of the time we should like our jobs. 90% of the time we should get along with our spouses or anybody, or, friends, whatever. 90% of the time we should have good relationship with others. 10% of the time, well, that's where, things aren't perfect. Nobody's perfect. Life's not perfect. That's where that 10% comes in, where we're going to have those struggles every now and then. But yeah, I think a lot of us live in that. If we're going to be honest, we're at a 40-60. Maybe at best 40-60. 40% of the time we're happy, and 60% of the time we're not happy. Because there's something in our lives that we feel like we can't get rid of because it would be detrimental. But like I said, if you're not overly miserable keeping this in your life, if the stress is reasonable, if it's manageable and it's not holding you back, if it's not ruining your mood, if it's not making you miserable, then it's not necessarily a bad thing. But like I said, if it is affecting you significantly and it is ruining your attitude and it's rubbing off on the people around you, and you're like I said, you're losing interest in your passions, your recreational stuff, yes, something's got to go. I think that's all I got for today. Thank you for tuning in to my life talk video. Feel free to like and subscribe. I will not mind that at all. I will greatly appreciate that. And y'all have a great weekend. Thank you.